G'day guys, just another video on the Coonara Compact. I'm just going to do a video of startup. And first I'm just going to go through what I use and kindling and stuff like that to get it going. So I'm going with some paper cut into shreds that I form into balls. I've got some smaller kindling. This is some old Jarrah decking that I got from a mate, and I've just split it up into small little bits. I've got some bigger bits here of some dried timber, and then I've got some bigger bits of red gum. So I'll set it up and then I'll get back to you. Rightio, so I've just set up a bed of newspaper with some firelighters, and I'm just going to show you how I arrange the kindling. So what I like to do, I like to, because of the height of the firebox, it's really hard to get TP going. So I like to run the timber kind of in a lattice. So I'm laying it horizontally and then I'll stack it on top. So I've set it up, and as you can see, I've stacked the timber horizontally, and you kind of get a nice little structure. I'll just light it up. Now when you're doing it, you want to make sure the choke is out, which it is. And get as much of this paper going as I can. So this is ready to go. So it's going quite nicely. I'll leave it for a minute or two with the door slightly ajar, and then I'll chuck some bigger stuff on it. So it's been 3 or 4 minutes since I first lit it. As you can see, this structure just allows a really nice burn, and it's quite good. I haven't used all the kindling, but it uses a fair bit. But it gets it going. It's not going to have any troubles from now on. So once it's going like this, it's burning quite nicely. I'm going to put this this dry timber. Now these are just some old offcuts that I've split up, and I'm just going to get them and just stick them on top. And I'll let that go for another bit longer, maybe 10 minutes or so, till that really heats up. And then I'll put some bigger red gum on. And after that, the rider's own. Well guys, it's been another 5 or so minutes after I put those bigger bits of timber on. Now from here, I'm going for some smaller bits of red gum. But you could probably go with a big log straight on it. It's pretty hot, but for the sake of the video, I'll put a smaller bit on, something about this size, and that'll light up quite nicely. So you can see that'll light up pretty quickly and burn quite well. It's been another about 5 minutes since I put that bigger piece of wood on, and it's going really nicely, as you can see. So I'll let this go for about 10 minutes, and then I'll put my bigger bit of timber on, and I'll be right for the next 2 hours or so. So all up, it's probably been about 15 minutes since I first lit it up, and you can see within 15 minutes it's got quite a good fire. Now, just touching the unit, it's hot to touch, but I can put my hand on it, so it's still going to take a half an hour or so, 45 minutes for that steel firebox to really heat up. Now once that gets hot and you get the fan on, that's when you're really producing your heat. But 15 minutes, it's not too bad. Righto guys, it's been about another 15 minutes, and as you can see it's burning quite nicely. So now I'm going to go on to just get my bigger bit, of timber, and it's going to just go straight on the top. Shut her up. Now it's getting a fair bit hotter, so now's the point where I'll turn on the fan. No real point putting it on before this, just because it isn't producing enough heat for the actual fan to work effectively. So I'll leave that log on, and that'll last an hour or two. It's about 6 o'clock now, so that'll get us till about 8 o'clock. We normally, if it's burning nicely, we'll normally put some briquettes on. Now, these aren't the old briquettes that I remember using when I was a kid. They're just ones from Bunnings that cost, I think, something like $12, and you get a 10 kilo lot of them. They're not as good as I've used in the past, but they still work, and they still do a good job of, you know, combining wood and your briquettes. You get a nice hot fire. So the log's on, it'll go soon, and she'll start getting pretty hot. So I'll do one more final bit probably in an hour, and that'll do us for the video on the Coonara compact startup. There we go guys, another 15 minutes later, the log I chucked on, burning really nicely, nice and hot, and that'll do it for my startup video. Hope you enjoy it. Any more videos you want to see, just put in the comments. Thanks guys.